My name is Nakia Miller, and I'm not giving my address over television. It's on the form. This is the second time that I've spoken before the school board, and the 15th month that the Hampton School Board and Hampton City Schools has known about the repeated rape of my 8-year-old daughter at John Tyler Elementary School. As this body has made it very clear that there is no concern for my family nor my daughter's safety, I am speaking to you again and will continue to do so until this body makes it a point to respond or to do something to ensure the safety of the students that are in Hampton City Schools. As I was interrupted at the last school board meeting, I am going to finish what I wanted to say then. Hampton City Schools has no problem with shoving the fact that the district is 100% accredited in our faces at all times. But what is 100% accreditation when there are 7-year-olds being repeatedly raped in the bathrooms of your schools? What is 100% accreditation when this body does not stand for school safety? You are willing to earmark $150,000 to rename 5 schools. How much will you invest for school safety? $10, $20, $100, $120 a month? I have spent my life as a community advocate, not only for children in our city, but for youth across our region. I have had many interactions with members of this board. My oldest daughter, as recently as 2 years ago, went to family preservation for summer camp. As the advisor for the Hampton Branch NAACP Youth Council, I attempt to empower our youth to always reach their greatest potential. I am not a perfect parent. There are plenty of things that are trial and error, but I will be all 3 of my children's strongest advocates for as long as they are alive. My husband and I work together to provide Celeste the support that Hampton City Schools fails to give. All children know that from the statements that the school board attorneys have made in regards to Celeste, their safety will never be at the forefront of HCS's minds, and that is truly sad. As you stood before the public and spoke of the accolades of the students that received recognition at this time, the salutatorians, the valedictorians, the technology recipients, that is the moment where we have the ability to be proud of what our community has to give and to celebrate their greatest potentials. But what about the situations that Hampton City Schools tries to cover up? What about those things that need to be addressed, that need to be fixed in order for you to say that you care about every child every day, whatever it takes? I am baffled by the inaction and the silence of this board and their council when it comes towards my daughter's well-being. As previously, each one of you would have had me on your side as your greatest advocate until you choose to take a stand against rape in public school bathrooms. I promise you, you will see me beside your opposition, especially for the 3 members who are up for re-election next term.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Our next speaker this evening is
Good evening, Dr. Kilgore and members of the board. My name is Brenda Coles, the president for the Richmond, Virginia chapter of the National Action Network. founder and our national president is Reverend Al Sharpton. I also serve as president for the state of Virginia and the state of West Virginia. Most importantly, I'm the mother of Elijah Coles Brown. And at 11 years old, he was sexually assaulted on the school bus. The Richmond, Virginia chapter, NAN, stand in solidarity with the Miller family and seeking justice for Celeste. I am asking this board to understand the devastation that Celeste is dealing with. And not just Celeste as a victim of sexual assault, but also her brothers and sisters and her parents. The entire household is affected. As a mother of a child that was sexually assaulted, a normal child that was always happy, I watched my son withdraw. He couldn't eat. He would hide in the closet. And his grades dropped. Even through years of therapy, even to this day, my son suffers with PTSD, anxiety attacks that I have to still deal with on a regular basis. When you are refusing to take this matter seriously, you failed. You failed. This child was sexually assaulted. You failed, Celeste. You failed the schools, the children in the schools. We're not talking about one child. We're talking about your whole school system. Because see, the young man that sexually assaulted my son, he made one thing clear. That wasn't his first, and it wasn't going to be his last. So the parents today should be horrified that you refuse to do anything. You failed. You failed the community. And why you get voted in to office. And the promises that you make, that you're gonna take care of the children in which you oversee. You failed. You failed. It's not your child, is it? The school did what they were supposed to do. No, you didn't. That's what all the schools say. But I want to ask you all one thing to do if you want to take a little advice. I'm in Henrico County. And not only did Shannon Taylor, which is our Commonwealth attorney, spoke out clearly and stated it was an assault on my child. She didn't hide it. She made it very clear. But not only that, but she met with me on Christmas Day that year because she understood the urgency of what was happening. But reach out to that family to ensure that this child is getting the therapy that she's gonna need long term. And not only that, but if she needs to get away from the person that attacked her, you all need to make that happen. Because if you failed her, trust me, you failing all the children that you claim that you represent. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Coles. Our next speaker is Elijah Coles Brown.
Good evening, Dr. Kilgore and members of the board. My name is Elijah Coles Brown, and before I begin today, I want to tell you all just a little bit about myself and why I'm here today. And I am the son of Brenda Coles, who just spoke up on the podium today, and I'm also the son of Brenda Coles that is on that paper that is in front of you all today. I am a 17-year-old student at John Randolph Tucker High School in Henrico County currently. And I am a student in the Center for Spanish Language and Global Citizenship program. I'm also an AP and honors student. And before I entered high school, I was in the Talented and Gifted program in elementary school and was in the International Baccalaureate program in middle school. I'm a national motivational speaker. I'm a podcaster, a speechwriter, an entrepreneur, a TV talk show host, along with many other things. But most importantly, I am Brenda Coles' son. I am here today in support of Celeste Miller and her family today. I myself, as you can see in front of you today, have been a victim of sexual assault. And its effects are still with me even today. Things that affect my daily life. I have an extremely hard time focusing with simple tasks, daily tasks, and even school. Even though the situation happened to me in 6th grade, in middle school, I'm about to be in 12th grade right now. My grades are still suffering, still dropping, even into my later years of high school, even though normally I'm an A/B student. I have problems remembering simple things. I have trust issues. I either trust people too much or I don't trust them at all. I have random bouts of severe anxiety and have anxiety attacks so bad that even within the past few weeks have interfered with my personal life, my school, and my job. And I now suffer with an anxiety disorder, PTSD, and a general depression disorder. All of this was after one experience with a child on my bus. One experience. I cannot imagine how Celeste must be feeling, or the trauma that will affect her throughout her life over the course of 2 years of sexual molestation in your school system. It is truly despicable that Miss Miller has had to send her child to such an unsafe environment. To the knowledge of the school. And nothing has been done to prevent the continued assault of Celeste. The worst mistake that the school system made for me, Henrico County school system, the worst mistake that they made was to refuse to listen to my cries. Do not, I repeat, do not do the same for Celeste. She deserves to be in a safe school environment, just like every other child. She does not need to be in the same school as her offender. If that requires moving her out of the school, placing her into a private school, and funding her education to make sure that she is safe, then that is what needs to be done. There's an old African proverb that says that it takes a village to raise a child. I want to ask if Celeste's village can please stand. You as a school board are also part of Celeste's village. If you cannot stand up for Celeste, if you cannot stand up for a student in your county, if you cannot stand up for justice for a victim of sexual assault, then why are you here? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coles-Brown. Our next speaker is Willie Brown.
First and foremost, giving honor and all allegiance to God Almighty, to the members of the board. I'm a Richmond, Virginia native. I would like to say this first on behalf of the family of Ms. Miller and Celeste, who suffered the trauma of being sexually molested within the school for 2 years. I was taken aback and shocked because it reminded me of the behavior in prison. I'm a brother that was locked up at the age of 14, did 35 years and 11 months in prison, and just got released in 2018. And when I learned about Celeste Miller ordeal, I said, wow, this is very similar to prison and what goes on in prison. And I asked myself, this going on in the schools? And nobody was there to detect after 2 years of this young lady going through this type of atrocity. I just wanted to say this, and it's a scripture that's in Proverbs 29:7, and take it as you will. It says, the righteous care about the justice for the poor, but the wicked have no such concern. And when I heard my young brother Elijah speaking, and I'm like, this is a young brother who went through the same similar experience, but not as long as. And I wondered to myself that if I was to send my granddaughter or my grandson to such a school or any school in the state of Virginia or any college in the state of Virginia where sexual assault is taking place all the time, how is this possible for a so-called civilized society? How is this possible for people who supposed to be the steward, supposed to be the guardian over a life? And so as Elijah said, man, you know, show your justice. Let us see that righteousness and justice dwell in you by taking the right action. If it don't, then it just reveals you and your relationship to the Most High. And I'm a striving man. I'm not a righteous man completely, but I'm striving every day to live righteous principle. And I'm not afraid to stand up for justice because I have suffered it almost all of my life as a black man living in America. So we ask that you do the right thing. You wouldn't want nobody to do that to your child. You'll be raising holy hell. Raising holy hell that something be done to correct the wrong. And the only thing that can correct it is justice and righteousness. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Our final speaker, I'm not sure I'm going to get the first name right, Akaylin Miller? Akaylin Miller.
I didn't bring anything. I didn't write anything pre-hand. But today, sorry. My name is Akaylin Miller. I go to school at Kickatel High School. I'm a freshman, and I'm not stating my address. I'm gonna say a few things about Celeste's personality, and about Celeste, how she is at home, how she was before this situation, how she is now. before the situation, Celeste was a happy, smiley girl who she likes playing in the front yard with Warren, my little brother. I can't, now how she is, she has anxiety attacks. I've seen her cry, I've seen her scream, she's, I don't, I can't imagine if this happened to another child. If it hurts to know that there could be another child out there that could go through this as well. And it should hurt you too that there could be another child going through this as well, and you didn't help them, and you are not helping Celeste either. You did not help Celeste. Would you help another child if someone spoke out and said that this happened to them too? Would you help the other child?
Question.
I know that God help anyone's soul who looks at this as if it's not a big situation, because it is a big situation. This is a sexual assault. Are you hearing that?
Yes, ma'am.
It is a sexual assault. And somehow, this is a common thing. It shouldn't be a common thing in schools, where we're supposed to be safe, where my parents send me and are supposed to send my siblings to a safe environment where we go to learn. Is it so safe if kids are being sexually assaulted in bathrooms? It boggles my mind how there are people speaking out on behalf of Celeste, and there are people sending prayers to my family also, but at the same time we got no phone call from anybody here saying that they would do something for her. I can't. That's all I had to say. I didn't write anything down.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Ms. Mauer,